Welcome to Yoga Friends. I'm here with my lovely friend Ami. Ami, thanks so much for joining me. And Ami is a student at the studio that I used to work for. She used to come quite often when she could because she was often traveling. Ami is works in marketing,
Hmm.
and you get to travel to some pretty beautiful places. I know you were recently at the Masters.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about how you've been to Pebble Beach, which is gorgeous. It's in Northern California, right on the ocean. What other like lovely places have you been?
Internationally, Portugal is one of my favorites. I love the architecture, the culture, the food. I've recently went to Africa on a personal trip and then to India. So I like the cultural types of trips. Work-wise, I get to do a lot of golf and lots of, fun games and things like that. I'll be going to World Cup, which is going to be really exciting. So lots of
Yeah.
good stuff.
And you were saying earlier, like Portugal, people are starting to do weddings there because you can get good prices there, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think the backdrop is absolutely stunning, first of all. And then, the food is all fresh and farm to table, and people love that. And it's also cost effective. So I have a lot of friends who've actually gone and done their kids' weddings there, and it's been beautiful.
Yeah. And where did you? Let's see. Where else have you been that well, where did you go in Africa?
Oh, so we went on a safari. It was a very unique experience. It required more patience than I expected, I'll be honest. But seeing the animals, when you did see them, you're in the car for 8 hours. It was majestic.
Yeah. What now are the where at in Africa did you go?
So we went to Kenya and we went to the Serengeti.
Okay.
And Masai Mara were the three different
The
places we went to.
Serengeti.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was really cool.
When you went, was it like jam packed with animals? Because whenever I've seen like videos of it, there's a million different animals all
Yeah.
in the same spot.
Yeah, no, but we saw every animal there over the course of the 10 days. But, no, you'd have to wait a long time to
Yeah.
see a pride of lions.
And you didn't get to see any apes because there's only really like two areas in Africa, I think, that
That's
you
right.
can really go to see them. I think one of them is the Congo, and I would assume that that's quite a thing to get into there, into the jungle and all that.
Yeah.
I see people every once in a while on videos like approaching apes. I wouldn't feel great about that because I saw a video just a couple days ago of a guy who this ape was just like kept like pawing his head and like
Oh my
wouldn't let him go
gosh.
and like just kept him there for like an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And I just watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so scary.
I had a friend that did do that, and I was going to. In fact, I bought the ticket, and then I got scared. I'm like, this seems a little too much for me.
Yeah, I mean, they just have so much like power
Yeah.
over us.
Yeah. But people do it.
Yeah, they do. Well, there's a guy. I don't remember who his name, but he's pretty famous, and it showed him taking his wife to meet these gorillas, and it was a really beautiful experience for them. But I might trust that guy.
Yeah.
But anyone who doesn't have a lifetime's worth of experience dealing with gorillas, like I'm not going to trust them.
Yeah. True.
So, do you like your job?
I do. I like the strengths that I get to bring to my job and the strengths that it allows me to, kind of enable. So for me, I love bringing people together. I love making and creating fun experiences that are, memorable and things like that. So
Yeah.
that's what my job allows me to do. And then I get to be on the cutting edge of technology, which I love to learn and constantly learning about technology and how that impacts our world.
Yeah. Well, you were fortunate because I know this. I know that your parents wanted you to become a doctor, and you would get kind of queasy sometimes, dealing with all of that stuff, and it wasn't your cup of tea. It wasn't your passion, and then you kind of paid for your own business school, right?
Yeah.
And then I think your parents were kind of impressed by that.
Yes, they were disappointed naturally when I decided not to pursue medicine, but it just was not going against the grain. It was hard for me. It was not leveraging my strengths. I was getting queasy. I was even passing out, fainting. So
Yeah.
yeah, when I went to business school, I did it, knowing that it was different, and yeah, I paid for it for myself, and ultimately they are proud of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you seem to do really well. Didn't you win an award like last year or something?
Yeah, it was a kind of a marketing award by the Marketing Association as top 10 marketer. And so that's actually, it's very humbling, because I'm just doing my job and I feel like
Yeah.
I'm just And really, it's my team. I have a really great team, and they're the reason why I think I get to, be able to be honored with those things on behalf of them.
Yeah, well, you have a really, you have a really humble approach. Like I remember you were telling me, and I was like, "That's a big deal." And you were kind of talking about it, like, it's just something that happened. And I thought, wow, that seems like a lot bigger deal because you're talking about top 10 in the country. Yeah,
Yeah, it's humbling, but I was alongside amazing people, so
yeah,
I feel very humbled by it.
yeah. You you have gone back to you weren't born in India, but your parents are from there, and you've gone back to India on occasions. And we're going to show either some pictures or some footage of some of the beautiful like pieces of Indian art that you have in your house. But what would you say to someone who's never been to India? Like, what would you say if you wanted to sell them ongoing?
Yeah, that's such a good question. India is very beautiful. There's the dichotomy of the rich and the poor. There's a lot of pollution. There's a lot of reasons why people would say they would never go. But when you go there and the colors are so vibrant, the people they have such heart. There's very little jealousy between the rich and the poor because people believe in karma. And so it's really interesting to see how people just interact. I would say the other thing is there's a lot of people, so it's very hard to be lonely. I feel like here, we're alone a lot, and some of us live in, we all live alone or with very few people, and there you're just around people all the time. And the food is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
can't, there's so much variety of food.
Yeah.
So,
And there's very little crime over there, isn't there?
I mean, there's petty crime, but
Yeah.
it's not to the level of violent crime that we have here, I would say.
Yeah. Hmm. That's interesting. And you you run an orphanage over there.
So yes, I work with a team of people in Sri Lanka. There's a girls' home, and a lot of the girls had unfortunately lost their parents due to war or to tsunamis, or they couldn't take care of their kids. So it's a beautiful place, and it's come a long way since we started. And I work with a great team of people who brought me on, and I'm
Yeah.
very. It's beautiful to see the girls grow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure for them to know that there's someone in America who's looking out for their best interest is, incredible. I've always heard that the thing that people want the most is to be seen. And, even though you're not there very often, they know that from over here, you're doing really well for themselves, but you're like looking over them. And it's got to be like really comforting to them to know that. I mean, I think that that's beautiful.
Yeah, and they show us so much appreciation. They send us letters every Christmas. They text the girls who can text. They're very appreciative. They call us either aunt or mom or dad or whoever is on the board. They feel a sense of family, and then they themselves are a family. So it's really nice to see the sisters growing up together. And there's a lot of hard things, but then for every hard thing there's 10 beautiful things, so it's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah, I've heard, as you were saying, it's quite the experience to go to India and experience like the sights and sounds and the smells and everything. It's like an incredible sensory experience. But one other thing that I notice is that a lot of people from India, they come over here and crush it, like, either as doctors or in business or whatever. Is it normal for the average person growing up in India to have like an incredible work ethic or?
That's a good question. I would say education is a very primary part of our culture, and at least in my family it was, and even my extended family, education represents freedom, right? And so it's freedom to kind of do what you want to do and make an impact in the world in the way that you want to make it. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore. I feel like now people are exploring other paths, but I think we have a strong sense of family and support, which I think goes a long way. Like my parents helped pay for my college, my undergrad, and that set me up pretty well, and then I did eventually have to pay for my MBA, but I was very fortunate. And I feel like our culture does, at least the people that I know, they do help them, and that helps a lot with the foundation.
Yeah. And are there, like, would you say, are there colleges in India that are comparable to like Michigan where you went?
I would say a little different. I would say it's a completely different educational system. So, some people go in different paths, and you have to know very young, like before high school, you have to know if you want to be a doctor and you get on that path, or an engineer. Here, I think, at Michigan, I was very fortunate to be able to explore, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I knew I had to go into, try to head towards med school, but then I was
Yeah.
able to pivot, which I think in India would be a lot harder.
Yeah, that's really cool that in India they're already like when you're 10 years old, like thinking about, where you're gonna go. I mean, when I was 18, like I didn't have a clue when I was 18. But yeah, that's pretty awesome that you're kind of set up. It just seems like people in India really, kind of look after each other a lot.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a strong sense of community, even here. I mean, my dad came here in 1957. He was one of the first immigrants in this country, and then he sponsored all his family to come. And we have a huge community of people, and I think we rely on each other. In fact, even in my neighborhood, there's quite a lot of Indian people, and we connect. We actually invite each other over, and we connect with our children, and we build community together, which is helpful.
Yeah, I remember when I was in my 20s, my dad passed away a long time ago, but when I was in my 20s, I remember taking care of my dad, and it was quite, it was a lot, at the time. But your dad lives in your basement. I mean, and you remodeled your whole basement, and it was a big thing to do that. And now he lives down there in this gorgeous house, and so what you're saying is I can see it's absolutely true just in your life.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's hard to. My dad has advanced stage dementia, and having to put him in a home would have been really hard. And having to figure out care at home is also very hard. But, again, it's our sense of family that brings me to, that makes me want to do it. And I feel fortunate that I've been able to, and with the support of my very good friends who helped me actually build the basement, and friends who have been able to help me find caretakers, I've been able to manage it. And I think it's a win-win for both of
Yeah.
us. And my parents took care of us as we grew up, so I feel fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that you in India, you guys have a faith and a hope that investing in one another is going to work out like a little bit more than we have here. I mean, you have people here obviously who do that, but not, in my opinion, on the same scale. Certainly not in the like kind of how I grew up, for the most part. So I think that that's pretty awesome. I mean, I admire that. So how does yoga like help you with your job?
Oh, it brings me a sense of peace. I think so. My job requires me to be on, and I'm getting texts, emails, Teams messages, and my phone's constantly dinging. My emails are going off, so I'm being bombarded all the time. Yoga for me is, well, you can't take your phone in there. First of all, it's hot yoga, and it just gives me an hour of just mindfulness where I can just think about my thoughts. It's also very spiritual for me. It's my time to think about, for me, what my spirituality is, and kind of center me. I think also when it's so hot in there, you can't really think about anything else. And the music is just amazing. I love music, so I think that keeps my brain in the present, and it just helps center me.
That's interesting that you say that because I think people have the impression that meditating is always just totally silent. But in a yoga studio, like I'm always present too. And for some reason, like my mind, I think the music helps me stay present. Like you're saying, it's just like I'm totally into what I'm doing. It's hard to think of anything else because we have these asanas or postures that we're kind of trying to remember them, and then we're thinking about how we're balancing, and this side it balances better than that one, and I need to work on this or that. And all along we're not only present with ourselves, which just about any therapist would tell you is excellent. It's one of the best things we can do for ourselves mentally. But we're building self-awareness the whole time. And little by little, incrementally over time, it adds up into, us really slowly becoming like the best version of ourselves. So yeah, I love it for that reason. How long have you been doing yoga now?
So I started off doing Bikram yoga, I think in 2012, and that was silent, and it was 26 postures, I believe, if I remember correctly. But it was silent, and it was really good for physicality. I came to the hot yoga vinyasa studio, I think it was in about maybe 4 years ago after COVID, or I guess it's been 6 years. Okay, so 4 to 5 years ago, I've been doing hot vinyasa, and I love it. I mean, for me, it's the music, it's the presence, and the
Yeah.
heat. I love the infrared heat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, do you know? I don't know if you know this or not, but do a lot of I assume that people in India generally do yoga and meditate, and they're always living in the
Funny.
present moment.
Yeah.
But most of the people I've known from India, they're like, no, I've never meditated. It's like
It's funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I forgot what my question was going to
Yeah.
be, but do you ever meditate like outside of yoga?
So I was introduced to meditation when I was telling you I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and when I was going through treatment, somebody actually said you need to start to learn to meditate, and I that was so hard for me because I'd never done it before, and they're like, just start for 30 seconds and then increase it to 1 minute and 5 minutes, and I'm telling you, over the course of the 2 years that I went through that, it single-handedly was the thing that I believe, I don't know, centered me or got me through it or kept me calm and my anxiety levels low. I will tell you, life gets in the way, and then you're feeling better and you're doing better, and then you stop meditating. But for me, I think I do most of my moving meditation in yoga. I have friends. My best friend, actually, Vicky. She's a yoga instructor too, and she's a Reiki.
Where at?
She's in Plymouth somewhere. I would have to. I
Okay.
would have to get the
Yeah.
name, but I'll tell you. And she also does private lessons, but she's a Reiki master, and she does a whole bunch of stuff, and she loves meditation. She's very good at it. And you could see it in her face. She's just a very calm person, So
Yeah.
I wish I would love to aspire to be her, to do it as much, but I get it in my yoga classes.
Yeah, when it comes to meditating, I kind of am on and off about it. It's like once I have a certain amount of stress in my life, then I'm like, I should get back to it, but I should really do it every day so I
Yeah.
don't get to that point.
Do you do it like pretty often?
Not as often as I should. Yeah,
Okay.
I go through phases, and I actually haven't done it in a little while, but I've done a little bit of it lately, but I really would like to do like 20 minutes a day.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's interesting for people who don't meditate, you're just sitting there. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh gosh, I still have thoughts in my mind, well, then you're probably like 99% of the rest of the people.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is that you're not, you're not thinking about a million things at once.
Yes.
And if you're trying to focus on something, which I think a lot of people do in meditating, I usually try to focus on my breath. It kind of helps with your focus, and it just like everything, just like we were talking about in a yoga class, everything just kind of like settles. And it's interesting because sometimes I'll be tired and feel like I need a nap. And I can take some long naps nowadays, like really long. Like honestly, I could take a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day easily.
Wow.
And
I'm envious. I wish I could.
yeah, well, I don't know, because sometimes I wonder, gosh, is that like a little bit too much? Like they say that sleep's good for you, but it's like I don't know anyone else who's taken 2-hour naps. But sometimes I'll just meditate for 20 minutes, and then I'll feel good after that. I don't know exactly why that happens yet, but
I mean, I used to think you had to be like focused on your breath or not thinking at all or not doing anything at all. But for me, if I say Om and I'm just saying it inside of me, I'm able to get calm. For me, I think it just helps with anxiety. Like when I feel nervous, I try to just sit down and get calm.
And I've heard before that everything that we've ever wanted is right here in the present moment.
True, yeah.
And it can help to bring us in that moment. And I don't think anything like spectacular is going to happen, but I think it's just going to be it can often be just a lovely sense of just being, not living in the future or the past, where a lot of depression
Yes.
and anxiety happens. You're
That's
being
right.
anxious about the future, being depressed about things that have happened in the past.
That's right.
So you were saying you had lymphoma,
Yeah.
and you were told to get your affairs in order.
Yeah, the treatment wasn't working in
Yeah.
California, unfortunately, and so it was a tough time. That's basically why I came back to Michigan, was to be with my family and try to figure out my kids and all of that. So I came back to be with my family, and I ended up being very fortunate and got a treatment that was hard to get, very expensive, and It required many parts of a hospital to work together, so it's not offered very at all anymore. But
Because it's too easy. They can't make a profit off of it.
Exactly. It's not profitable and it requires a lot of coordination. So there are other treatments. I mean, since I was diagnosed in 2008, and I'm so happy to see that there's much more advancement in, cancer research, cancer treatment. So it's really great to see. I was just fortunate at that time to get this medication and treatment, which, I mean, essentially has saved my life, or is why, I'm here now, as long as I am. So I'm very, very, very grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful too that you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, Ami, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, well, I just want to say thank you for you teaching, and the way that you teach has affected me personally. Even my son, I was just telling you, he's coming back from New York, and he was asking about Jonathan's class. He extended his trip so that he could go to your Sunday class. So I just want to thank you for having an impact on all of us with your teaching. You do a great job.
Well, my pleasure. And I was telling you earlier how I have like affection withdrawals, because people are so kind and sweet and just so complimentary, and then also work so hard for me in my yoga class. And it's like, I don't have that anymore. So, and it's like, it just kind of having withdrawals from that. And it makes me appreciate even more. And I appreciated you guys so much before, but appreciating you guys even more after I've left. And you've always been so nice to me. And I admire, like, with all of this success you've had, just a very cool, like, easygoing personality. I think you're awesome, Ami, and thanks so much for doing this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm honored, and right back at you.
Thanks. Okay, Ami, so let's see. You have some really beautiful Indian artwork here that I wanted to show people. So what are these two beautiful elephants?
Well, my mom used to love elephants. They're made out of teak wood with some ivory. They're from India, actually. They're beautiful. Elephants actually represent good luck in our culture. So you'll see I have quite a few elephants in my house. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And
Thank
then
you.
these roses, you were just telling me about them. They're real and they were dried out.
Yes, so they are real roses. Actually got it as a gift for my 50th birthday a couple years ago, and they will last for 3 years, and they're just dried, and you can still smell them, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Thank you.
And then there's this gorgeous piece of art. What exactly is this?
Yeah, this is the Taj Mahal. So in India, it's one of the most famous, iconic places. It's you could see it's all embroidered.
Yeah.
It actually was my mom's art piece a long time ago. It stayed very beautiful and well. But yeah, it's the Taj Mahal located in Agra, India.
It's gorgeous with those little flowers around it too.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, and then what is this one?
So this is our god of good luck, Ganesha. So you'll see these in a lot of Indian homes. It's an elephant god, and again, we have it to indicate auspiciousness and good luck and good fortune.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, then we have this beautiful sitar. And when you were younger, you took sitar lessons.
I did, yes. I was probably in 7th grade to 12th grade. So I learned it with a really, really amazing teacher who actually knew Ravi Shankar, and he was amazing. I'm not that amazing, but yeah, I used to play it and I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument.
Yeah, and Ravi Shankar, just in case you don't know, I think he taught George Harrison of the Beatles how to play sitar, and you can hear it on Norwegian Wood and some of the other Beatles songs. So yeah, he's a really, really, like, probably the most famous sitar player out there.
Yes. So this is a piece made by Sandalwood. It's in India, but what I love about it is it's a goddess, a mother goddess with 2 young sons. And one of the sons, as you can see, is the Indian elephant god that I just showed you, and that's his brother. So I have 2 sons, so that's why I love this piece. It kind of makes me think of being their mom.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thanks, Ami. I appreciate it.
Thank you.